commentary position from this main stand, so Raiders will get the first attack of this afternoon's game. Raiders, a victory for them here will put them in the draw for that 1895 Cup quarter-final, which you can listen to next week with you, Jordan.
Week after.
Challenge
Cup next week.
Oh, that's a fortnight's time then, yeah. But the draw for that one is live on BBC Radio Cumbria, of course, with Jordan Weir. So we are underway now then. Cumbrian derby part 2. Barrow going to collect that ball deep behind their own line there. Almost slipped as well. Just shows you what the surface is like here. If it was a horse running track, you'd probably say it was good to soft in places, if that makes sense. And you can see already Ramon Silva with that first run slipping under feet, and already an incorrect play of the ball on the second play gives Whitehaven possession now, just 10 metres away from that Raiders line. A schoolboy error there from Barrow.
Paul Crary was having a good conversation with Brad Milligan earlier on, potentially about something that way. Hasn't gone in his favour at the moment. So Whitehaven have played the ball. Newton's come right to Ross Ainley. Ainley's going to be put down on his back, but Whitehaven with a golden opportunity, as Barrow hit in the last league meeting. They're going to go over it in the first minute of Whitehaven, like Jared Stack did all the way back in, was it August? Yeah, just before the bank holiday weekend. Lucas Castle's the man now taken down. Newton's in at dummy half, just going to come right now into the hands of Carter. Carter along the line to Jamie Doran, then finds Romeo. Romeo was adjudged to have not caught it there cleanly, sort of hit his hand and went on the sideways, but ruled to being a knock on there by referee Brad Milligan. And just over 60 seconds gone in this game, an header from both sides already.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a sloppy start to the match so far.
Disappointing that from Jamie. You don't normally see him make them kind of mistakes, especially early on in the game. But like you say, the Raiders are thankful for that, and they're going to get possession back off this scrum.
So just over a minute played then. Raiders now then will get possession back with this scrum down. 15 metres in front of their own post as Ryan Johnson puts that ball in. It comes back out towards this right hand side with Broadbent. He's going to get his first run of the ball. Josh Wood now looking towards Wilkinson, running it back down towards the middle. Raiders will be using this pack heavily, I imagine, as Burke's lining up this next run. Wood opts to go towards Greenwood on his left hand side. A good offload away there, back into the hands of Josh Wood, who's skipping around up towards that 40 metre mark, still inside the Raiders half, as Luke Cresswell comes in as acting half back, and he's looking at his options. Left and right, he finds a good strong run from Burke, but dummies once again and finds a little bit of space himself. He's just brought down inside the Whitehaven half. Still got a few tackles remaining in this set, as Wilkinson now with a great game last week against Workington picks up this ball against his former team. Fifth and last now then. Raiders find themselves just past the 40 metre mark, so it's going to be a deep kick here from Walker. Puts it high into the air. Don't think he's got a good distance on it. It's all gone for the height. Stack jumps up. It's come off Stack's fingertips, bounced forward, so it's going to be deemed a knock on, and Whitehaven will regather this ball just off their own 20 metre.
Yeah, Oscar Doran didn't seem all too interested in trying to get high in that and trying to challenge there. Maybe felt that sort of Stack wasn't going to jump himself and knew he was going up against him. Was quite comfortable that if Stack had got the ball, that he was going to be able to sort of deal with it. But Whitehaven now going to bring this ball forward, of course, through the former Raider Rio Corkill. Evan Lowther now, the man, former Newcastle Thunder man, playing his first game for Whitehaven, making his debut this afternoon. Comes across now to Ross Ainley into his second full season now after joining the club from Kells at the end of 2022, ahead of the 2023 season. He's fetched now just short of the 40 metre mark. Newton finds King in there, big push off there from Ryan King, going in against his former teammate in Tom Wilkinson. Newton then goes left to Carter. Carter looking for the early kick, realising Shaw wasn't back there, and it's just going to find touch there. Great kick from Jay Carter, forcing Ryan Shaw to turn round, just realising there the winger had come up just looking for that ball on the short side, and realised he had something to do there.
It's a good tactic that there from Jake and Whitehaven, because it's going to keep turning the Raiders pack round to chase back, then to bring the ball out, and when you keep running back, well, you say you're marching, you're not fighting, but it takes the gas out of the legs.
First play the ball off for 10 then, and it's going to be Broadbent once again. Just past that 10 metre mark now for the Raiders, still deep inside their own half, juggled around there by Max Clark. He's taken that ball in, good running, eventually stopped by no fewer than 4 Whitehaven shirts. There's Josh Wood, plays that ball away once again to Wilkinson. Not making too many metres. Good strong defence so far in this opening 4 minutes of the game from the home team, as Ramon Silva now then looks to make up for his earlier error. Still driving forward. It takes 3-4 men to grapple him down to the floor. Cresswell was saying in training he's almost a pro wrestler. And these people are really struggling to get to grips with him as a deep kick, looking for the 40-20 there, but it's taken on the full just before that 10-metre mark as Raiders were looking to make some quick field possession, and now Whitehaven back in possession.
And penalty there for Whitehaven looks to be the de-arming when Joey Romeo was trying to get up and play the ball. So a couple of infringements there that Paul Crady won't be liking from his side in the opening 5 minutes here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online. Still remains, of course, Haven 0, Raiders 0, and Jay Carter's going to look for touch, and he's going to make around about 25 metres on that kick, and Whitehaven are going to be tapping this ball 5 short of halfway. Doran collects the ball, passes inside to Corkill, he'll then take the tap. Of course, the Nigerian international played halves for Nigeria a few years back, did Rio Corkill while he's still at St Helens. But is it Evan Lover was the man that fetched the ball forward and is going to play it exactly on halfway. Ball in the hands now of Carter. Carter then gets just a little pop-up pass around the back to Lucas Castle, just trying to keep his legs pumping Castle, but it's Josh Wood there, the third man in, just going to wrap the legs and bring the Australian down. Going to come right now to the hands of King in the hands of Doran. Doran then finds Romeo's going to try and find a gap there between Ryan Johnston and is that Max Clark. It is the Tindy defence, but able to bring them down with the 2 Raiders defenders. Doran now finds Ross Ainley. Ainley's met there by Ramon Silva. Greg Burke and Tom Wilkinson completes the tackle 30 metres out. It's going to go left to King. King's just going to bring this ball forward, in at loose forward this afternoon. He's the Italian international. It is the 5 and last. Newton there was going to come to Jamie Doran, then decides to go left to Carter. Carter's going to put a kick towards the corner, and I think it's just going to be a bit too much on that. It's landed in the field of play and hasn't gone out for a penalty, so it's just going to be a turnover ball here for the Barrow Raiders, 10 metres out.
Interesting match up in the middle of the field there. Ramon Silva against Ryan King. That'll be an interesting one this afternoon.
I'm glad I'm not involved in it, I can tell you that.
You won't want to meet in that sandwich, would you? Ham or any otherwise.
Raiders now then, up towards that 20-metre mark. Still in possession inside their own half. Bring that ball out with Ryan Shaw, who's scooted in from that wing. Gets his first run of the afternoon. 6.5 minutes played here. Still remains scoreless here in Whitehaven. His 1895 Cup Group 1 match. Second match of the group. The final game for the Raiders, of course. A victory here today will guarantee their names in the hat for that draw in a fortnight's time, as Raiders spread that ball all the way out to the edge, where Max Clark is eventually brought down on the halfway line. Luke Cresswell doing well, joining up from that full pack position, as Ryan Johnston now then gets that ball out to Greenwood. 10 metres made there.
Right in front of us was that Dan Shelter forward pass. I don't think it was, but the grandstand behind us all thought it was.
So on the last now then, Ryan Johnson look for the kick, quick kick through the gap. It's just going to reach touchline. It's going to go just past that 20-metre mark, so it's going to be a little bit of a respite here, and considering there wasn't too much on there, it's not a bad kick there from Johnson.
No, it's a good end to the set. You know, they'll be reasonably happy with that. Just looking across the Raiders field, you know, the first time I've seen the squad this year, you know, they do look bigger across the field, which bodes well going forward.
Talking about going forward, Whitehaven fetching this ball forward now. Oscar Doran, you know, off the opposite wing to fetch this ball forward. He's the young man, Whitehaven's young player of the year last season. Will Evans on his return to Whitehaven now, making his second competitive debut after leaving the club initially to go to Widnes. Didn't really work out at Widnes, ended up back in Australia and has re-signed for 2 years here at the Ortus Rec, as Curtis T is now fetching this ball forward. He's taken down 10 short of halfway. Newton is going to go left then to Ryan King. King then is going to go just on the line ball. He was initially looking out the back. The Raiders defence, however, well more than matched up to it and wrapped Lucas Castle up short of halfway. Newton's going to scoot out the dummy half before finding Ross Ainley. Ainley's met by the duo of Wilkinson and Stark. It is the 5 and last, just over the halfway. It's going to come into the hands now with Jamie Doran. It's a high end over end kick that Luke Broadbent's going to have to get to. Jumps high there with his foot in the air, does Luke Broadbent. Soon met though by Holiday and King, and the Raiders are going to play this ball 25 away from their own line.
Great work under pressure there from Broadbent to collect that ball. So Raiders now then with Cresswell on their own 30. Still looking a little bit bunched in the middle, so they're going to go, you imagine, through the middle for the first few tackles of this set, and they do just that now, with the Raiders going past that 40-metre mark with Matty Costello this time with his bright orange boots. The man they've brought in from Salford this season. Good running that time from Greg Burke, using his strong shoulder there. Still driving forward is Burke, almost up towards the Whitehaven 40 now then. Ryan King eventually comes in to wrap up that tackle. Josh Wood going towards this left-hand side once more now. Raiders trying to create some numbers. Offload from Greenwood. The play is still alive. Ryan Johnson kicks it through. He's chasing his own kick. He's taken out. Was he off possession of the ball there? The referee has blown his whistle. He's deemed that Raiders were all offside, in fact, from that kick. And now Ryan Johnson is going to be put in the sin bin for dissent. Absolutely no messing there from the referee, and Raiders are going to be temporarily down to 12 men. Just a quick reaction there from the referee.
Yes, he's obviously said something, and much to the excitement of the general public around, that puts the Raiders down to 12 men for the next 10 minutes, which is not going to help the case. He'll discipline it to killer.
It is. It's an absolute. We mention it week after week in certain areas. Coach killers, absolute coach killers. Let's be honest, the Raiders have been the slightly better side so far. They've been able to get on the front foot. They've been finding more meters. You turn the ball over. The decision doesn't go your way. Get on with it. Don't you know? When has a referee ever changed his mind? He's never changed his mind. You're not going to get him to change his mind, whether you feel it's the right decision or not. Ryan Johnston, experienced halfback, should know better and finds himself in the bin for the next 10 minutes. So from the resultant penalty, Whitehaven now on the second tackle. Jamie Doran looking to go left, go right. Eventually decides to keep hold of the ball himself. There does Jamie Doran. But he's now being taken down. It's going to be 28 metres away from the Raiders line. Newton is waiting in there at a dummy half. It's going to go left to Carter. Carter then finds King. King there sort of jumps up in the air, a little shake and a shimmy from the Australian, but he's taken down exactly 20 metres out, just in line with the left-hand side post, attacking the railway end. Whitehaven in this first half. Doran, the 12 ball's going to be knocked down by Greenwood. And I think that was the only real sort of thing that Greenwood could do, was either take Jamie Doran man and ball, but you're not taking the man, you make sure you take the ball, because the Raiders' defence was short on their left-hand side.
Good point there. I'm just looking, Jordan. They were set up to come this side, and Dan mentioned before about the Raiders going to go up the middle. At this, it's about completing sets, and to get up the other side of the field and then give a ill-disciplined penalty away. Like you said, it's a coach killer, and that's what they were looking at. Where they at now, defending their own line.
Still got a good head of hair, Paul Carey. You won't have after the opening 11 minutes the amount of penalty, the sort of infringements have been given away here. But from the scrum now, the ball comes right into the hands of Joey Romeo, of course, former Swinton Lion. Spent his time at Swinton last year. Whitehaven did have talks about signing him before he in 2022, before he made the decision to go to Swinton last year. Got his man second time round, John Gawley. Ross Ainley now is going to take Whitehaven to within 7 metres, just to the right hand side of the post. We're going to come down the short side. Jamie Doran across to Will Evans, looking for the Welsh international there. Captain Queensland at under 18s did Will Evans. Newton's in there now. He's going to go left into the hands of Jamie Doran. Castle then now in centre field, just stood up there against Wilkinson, Ramon Silva. Josh Wood just grabs the legs and makes sure that he's taken to the floor, but Whitehaven only a few metres out. Newton's going to come down this right hand side once again. Ross Ainley on that occasion, Ainley not able to keep hold of the ball. It's going to be a turnover ball here. Ramon Silva's going to be the man to fetch it forward, throws the offload away, and the Raiders are coming away with it.
Big tackle at that time. Luke Cresswell it was involved. He just caused that ball to come loose. Silva's picked up the loose carry, and now Raiders find themselves on the 20, and once again the referee's blowing his whistle. This time it's going to be Whitehaven penalised for interference in the tackle, and like we've seen last week with these officials, they are letting absolutely nothing go. These are the sort of things that in previous seasons you may have seen like referees maybe warn players for it or don't do it again, similar to the Ryan Johnson incident there. The players say things all the time to officials and they say, well, watch your mouth, don't do it again. This time absolutely no nonsense was there, and it's going to be the same throughout.
I think that's good though, Dan. Yeah. It's good that they put the stamp on the game straight away, as long as they keep the game flowing.
The ball has come loose in the tackle there. I think the referee's going to deem it's been ripped out. It was ripped out.
Wasn't too sure initially. The man in the middle did have to look to the touch judge on this side, and the touch judge should give the signal. They are mic'd up of course, but just give the signal, yeah, that's being ripped and you need to give a penalty. So silly while the Raiders are down to 12 men. Whitehaven just allowing them more time with ball in possession while they're down a man.
So great time now for Raiders to put some points on the board. It's still scoreless between these two Cumbrian neighbours here, but it's Raiders who find themselves now just over 20 metres away. 13 and a half minutes played on the clock in this second match in the 1895 Group 1 game. Wilkinson now then finds himself 10 metres away, right in front of the post. Josh Wood looks towards his right hand, finds an offload from Burke. Raiders still playing this ball over towards that right hand side where Jared Stack eventually collects the ball. He's going to be taken down strongly though. Still Raiders find themselves just under 10 metres from that try line as Luke Cresswell now swings that ball back in towards the middle of the field. It's popped off to Ramon Silva, who does what he does best. He just drives forward, dragging Whitehaven defenders with him. 3-4 it took that time to stop Ramon as Josh Wood now looks towards Stack on his right hand shoulder. Stack diving towards the line, and can Stack get the ball over? The referee's taking a quick look. He says no, he's stopped just inches short. As Raiders now then quick play the ball away over the top towards that right hand side, and Ryan Shaw's going to dive in, but the referee says no. The referee has pulled it back. Trying to see exactly what that was for.
Forward pass, Dan. I think touch judge initially just stood there straight away before Shaw had even collected the ball. Just stood there and said, no, that is forward. Whitehaven living dangerously on that occasion. Stack just short. Nearly would have been his third try in just 2 games for the Kiwi, but the shot on that right hand side looked to be in, but called back for the forward pass. So Newton in there at dummy half, going to come in then across to Oscar Doran. Doran's going to be wrapped up by 4 Barrow Raiders defenders, 10 metres out of Whitehaven. Got work to do here. Rio Corkill now as we just passed the quarter of an hour mark. Still scoreless here. Irvine 0, Raiders 0 on BBC Radio. Cumbria Sports Online as Curtis Tier now helping his forwards out. Gets away from Josh Wood. You don't say that all too often, but Stack and then Wood combine to bring the winger down. Ball in the hands now with Ryan King. King just pushes off Greg Burke, pushes off James Greenwood, and he then's going to take 3 defenders to fetch him down. Good work there from Ryan King. He's trying to get up and get a fast play of the ball. Calling for the knock on there is Greenwood. Nothing forthcoming. Ball in the hands now with Jamie Doran. There's a gap on this side, then comes down. Ball's going to be hitting down by the Raiders man. It is going to be 6 again. Joey Romeo trying to get away from Max Clark. Brober then comes in with the swim in an arm, and he's got his head there on Joey Romeo, and I think this could be, is it going to be a knock on? Is he just going to come back with no advantage? Luke Broadbent, just a little bit naughty there from Luke Broadbent. It's just as the tackle's getting a little bit more fierce, he didn't go in with the head, he didn't go for the headbutt, he just made sure that his head was on the head of Joey Romeo's.
Yeah, it was clever tactics. It was right in front of us, that as well, wasn't it?
I think they were getting in for a good strong wrestle. To be honest, I didn't see too much wrong with that.
No, definitely nothing wrong with it, but
no.
Broadbent was just making sure, letting him know that Joey Romeo that he was there.
Very aggressive is Luke, and I like that part of his game, you know. And you're not going to take a backward step, not in a like you say, a Cumbrian derby especially.
So Whitehaven did have the scrum, and then they've got a penalty. Raiders pinned from offside for a penalty. You don't see that all that often. Like I said, they do seem to be clamping down on pretty much everything at the moment. Obviously, we know about the play of the ball. We know about the sort of in the ruck and make sure you don't get your hands in. But that's what 6 penalties in the opening 17 minutes of the game. Hope that isn't a precursor to come, and we do get a 3-flung game of rugby league for either side. But Whitehaven now have taken this tap. Ross Ainley's going to be the man that plays the ball, coming down the short side. Doran's going to put a little kick forward. It's going to be knocked on there. The final man says it's gone backwards. It did go backwards, but you've seen them giving it times. Going early in the tackle, spotted something there, the Jamie Doran, but the Raiders have come up with the ball, and Broadbent's fetching it forward.
I'm quite surprised he's gone for the early kick there. He had some great field position, and he's opted for the kick on the second tackle of the set when he was 15 metres away from the line, and now they're all punished for all being offside. And these are absolute coach killers. We're seeing so many mistakes from both teams here, not even 20 minutes into this game, and I'm sure there's already a list as long as the forearms to go through from both coaches in that half-time dressing room, as a kick now comes towards our position here from Walker. It goes just over our heads, 40 metres out now then, still inside their own half. The Raiders still down to 12 men as Ryan Johnston is still spending the last final few minutes of that 10-minute send-in. As Raiders now then, with Clark, good strong running again from the Raiders centre, takes them inside the Whitehaven half. Greg Burke, good strong running that time, still driving forward. 3 defenders to stop the man. He gets a great offload away to Cresswell as well. He's made another 10 or 12 metres off that play, so Raiders now find themselves 25 out. Josh Wood plays that ball out to Wilkinson, who straightens his run up straight to right down the middle. Raiders now then just over 10 metres away, looking for the first points of the match now, and as Josh Wood gets that ball out to Greenwood on his left hand shoulder. Raiders 5 metres out. What will he make of it here as Wood looks all across the field to see what he's got on? Raiders setting up some shape on that right hand edge, it seems. Long ball towards this right hand side. Now it's a long looping ball over the top. It's going to find Ryan Shaw. Eventually he's had to cut back on the inside, wrapped up by the Whitehaven defenders on that far corner. On the last tackle now then, Raiders just a few metres away. Which way will they go? They'll go towards the centre. It's going to kick right through it. Who's going to chase that one? Will Wilkinson reach it? No, it's just taken away from his fingertips at the last second. It's going to be forced out dead, and it's going to be a drop out to Whitehaven, but good attacking play that time from the Raiders.
Yeah, good end of set there from the Raiders. If you can't get a try, the best thing is to get the ball back off the restart, and that's what they managed to do there. Just looking at Ryan Johnson getting ready to come on, or has he gone back on?
I think he's looking.
He's there ready to come back on. It's important that the Raiders, while he is off, keep hold of this ball. You know, can't emphasise the ill discipline with, you know, like knocking on and things. Just kills you.
Great drop out almost up towards the halfway line, taken by Greg Burke, who stopped that ball with his feet, picked it up, took the run in himself, and he's made 15-16 metres on that one as Johnson looks to come back onto the field shortly alongside Harvey Makin as well, a man who I'm sure would have played in the Wigan first team this year if it wasn't for the summer signings that they've made, so Barrow will gladly take him on for that year-long loan. Wilkinson now then takes Raiders within 10. Look for the offload. He's eventually brought down 5 metres away from that Whitehaven line. Plenty of options on both sides now. There's Jared Stack looks at once again, looking to make it back-to-back tries for him.
Johnston back on the field now, so the Raiders back up to a full complement of 13.
Back up to 13 and they're only 2 metres away from that Whitehaven line as Raiders got some big numbers on this far left-hand side. Johnson's kicked it through. Who's going to get there first? It's going to be the Whitehaven man who's going to pounce on that ball, forcing the second dropout in the second set, and good pressure here from this Raiders attack.
Yeah, Curtis Tier did well there to cover that ball and save the bacon there for Whitehaven. So again, another repeat set for the Raiders.
Good test here of the Whitehaven defence. How often do you see set, repeat set, once that force, how often do you see a side concede on that third set? So it'll be interesting to see how Whitehaven hold up.
Yeah. Johnston's picked up that ball then, fresh back onto the field, offloads it to Broadbent. So Raiders now then starting this set, I'd say 27-28 metres away from that Whitehaven line. Harvey Makin with his first taste of the action this afternoon in this part 2 Cumbrian derby of the 1895 Cup, where it still remains scoreless, just over 20 minutes played here, as Josh Wood gets that ball out to Johnson now, who pops that ball off to Wilkinson, who's been heavily involved since the opening minutes, the former Whitehaven man of course. Raiders now then less than 10 metres out, taking that ball out towards Johnson on that left hand side, who tries to wiggle his way around and through the Whitehaven defence, can't quite reach the try line no, so Josh Wood looks towards the short side, opts to go back in himself towards the middle, nothing gained that time from the Raiders, as Josh Wood is brought down in the same position they were just a few moments ago on the last tackle now then. Ryan Johnson with that long ball out the back to Walker. Walker's punted it towards that right hand corner. It's going to be taken well low by the Whitehaven defence, who are going to be forced into touch, and it's going to be the third dropout in the third successive set. The Raiders keep on this pressure, but the Whitehaven defence is matching Barrow's attack at the moment.
Probably the best defensive set Whitehaven have showed in this sort of mini-series so far, that they've been able to hold the Raiders out and force them with a crossfield kick. Obviously Wood didn't have any real options on that fourth tackle and decided to go himself before it was 5 and last, so another test that Whitehaven have passed, but they've got a fourth consecutive one here.
Taken well as Harvey Makin then takes the offload. He just slows down a little bit going into the tackle there, so once again 25 metres away, Raiders with his fresh set for the 4th time in a row. Will the points come this time? Tom Wilkinson drives the Raiders towards that 10 metre mark. Good strong running once again from the Raiders loose forward as Josh Wood takes that ball towards this left hand side now. Walker out the back to Johnson. Johnson finds Greenwood on that left hand side. It's going to be Max Clark. Max Clark goes in once again. He scored last week against Workington and he's doing it against Whitehaven this week, the Cumbrian neighbours. Raiders get their first points of the afternoon. 22 minutes on the clock here in Whitehaven. It's Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 4.
Yeah, great, better use of the ball that time. I thought a couple of sets earlier they just wasted the opportunity a little bit by just wasting too many tackles at the dummy half, but there again they had a good shape there. They came across, they had lots of players running in all sorts of operate like to support the ball, and the ball out the back, and eventually I think it was Max Clark went in for another try there. So they did well, did Whitehaven, keep them out as long as they did, I think, John.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned earlier, it's normally set, repeat, set. And if you're forced to a third, if you've gone to a third set, you normally find yourself conceding on that set. Jonty Gawley says it all so often, so if it's a penalty or an error, if you're allowing the sides to sort of march down the field, that you're going to, pretty much you will crack. And I don't care who you are, if you're defending 4 consecutive sets, you are tired, you're not getting the recuperation that you need, there will be a gap, and on that occasion the Raiders eventually able to find the gap on their left hand side, Whitehaven's right hand side edge, and Clark able to go over for the try there. He's second in back-to-back games.
They had to go through that spell there with 12 men as well, the Raiders, let's not forget. Whitehaven did have some good possession, good field positions, couldn't get through that Raiders attack. Probably won't thank themselves for the mistake and the errors they made, but as soon as Raiders were back up to 13, 4 sets in a row off your own goal line, it'll take take it out of any team at any level, won't it?
Yeah.
And I think that's exactly what's happened there. So Raiders have gone in for the first try of the afternoon. 23 minutes on the clock. Max Clark makes it 2-2 for him. And now Ryan Shaw's got this kick from this left-hand side, sweeping it towards the right, and I think he's put a little bit too much sweep on it. It's a rare miss there from Ryan Shaw. Ironic cheers from, I think, both sets of fans. I don't think the Raiders fans are used to seeing Ryan Shaw miss too many conversion attempts. So the scoreline here at the Ortus Rec remains Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 4.
Interchange is starting to come on now for both sides. Obviously Whitehaven, as we mentioned pre-match, only the one recognised prop on the bench, so Guy Graham's come on to replace sort of to Ross Ainley there, and the changes have started being made by Paul Crady. So he's 25 minutes in, sort of what you'd expect, as Charlie Emsley's made his way onto the field now, and the Raiders are going to fetch the ball forward.
No nonsense stuff from Charlie Emsley, but he's met head on by King, and he's charged backwards, and King is having a real game in the middle, like he does every week, I suppose, for Whitehaven, doesn't he?
You see why Crester's tried to get him for the last 3 seasons, can't you?
I never seen Crester's face light up. Every time he meets Ryan King, he's always the nicest guy in the world. And I'm sure he'd love to have Ryan King in a Raiders shirt. And never say never. He's been trying for about 5 years, and he's committed to this Whitehaven cause. And fair play to him as Ramon Silva now then up towards the 40-metre mark. As well, you can see here, these wrestling skills.
I was just about to say, you can see the wrestle there. They're going on about the Paul Crady mentioned earlier in the week about Ramon Silva. He's really got that upper body strength there. Has the Brazilian just to try and force his way out of that, and nearly got the offload away.
So Josh Wood now off the halfway line, going down the short side with Ryan Johnson, who's opted for the kick early towards touch, where it's going to bounce out just off the 20-metre mark. So another bit of a breathing space here for both teams. Wasn't too much happening there off the halfway mark, so good option for the Raiders to just make that field possession. And Whitehaven are going to start now off the 20, trailing this game by 4 points to 0. And you think that was a good end of set there, Graham?
I just want to say before that, tell you Ryan Johnson's biggest fan is Ryan Johnston. Loves it. As soon as he knew he'd done something like, he spotted there wasn't much on, able to put the kick, make sure his lad's got recuperation. That's it, applauding himself straight away. And fair play to the lad, he's got that sort of confidence. As Whitehaven's now fetching the ball forward through Oscar Doran. Doran then's going to be wrapped up. This will be second tackle. It's just going to be over the 30-metre line there. Pretty much centre field. Definitely he's going to be centre field now through Curtis Tia. Tia's going to be met there by 4 defenders, but keeps his leg pumping. Does the winger, and has done well there to make 5-6 post contact metres. Just short of halfway. It's gone left to Jake Carter. Carter's still going to look for the run there. Is the former Barrow Raider. And he's going to be taken down 38 metres away from the Raiders line. 5 in from the Popular side touchline, attacking at the railway end in this first half. Guy Graham has now got the ball in hand, the interchange. Silver, Emsley, and definitely another defender involved there as well. Harvey making it is Guy Graham there, Ramon Silva.
The fist went up there from Silva.
Yeah, he went there, Ramon Silva, and he said straight away, he went straight away, I'm not meant to be doing this, and it just went down. Has he got, I mean, obviously I'm thinking of maybe his nature, has he maybe got that sort of background, that sort of maybe
he's got MMA background.
There we go, you've seen it come into his head straight away, and thought, no, I can't do this, and put his arms right down, didn't he, Graham?
I think he did get a forearm smash in the face though first. I will say that.
So Jake Carter's going to put the kick in, looking to try and put some pressure on Cresswell, but to be fair to the Raiders defenders, they shield him quite well, and Whitehaven's going to look to be making some more changes. Aaron Smith coming on the field for Raiders to replace Josh Wood. Raiders have the ball.
So Raiders now then back in possession. Ramon Silva is definitely fired up now as they make another interchange. Aaron Smith onto the field, and this could be the difference for Barrow, as the referee has penalised Whitehaven for being all offside off their own 30-metre mark as well. I'm just saying there, Josh Wood coming off, Aaron Smith going on. They've got some talent on the bench, something that they really probably lacked a little bit last year. I know the injuries crept in a lot towards the end of last season especially, but when you can bring off players like Josh Wood to bring on Aaron Smith, you know, a grand final winner, a championship winner with Lee, it could make a big difference this afternoon.
Yeah, potentially this is a big 12 minutes for Whitehaven, just to make sure that this Raiders pack don't just get the ascendancy with the players that are fresh, and find that space on the edges and just nick a try or two. So, that's what, from a Whitehaven perspective, that's what they won't want to be doing. From a Raiders perspective, that's exactly what they want to be doing.
Harvey Macon then takes Raiders up towards that 20-metre mark as the ball is flown up towards his left-hand side. Now then Cresswell just wiggling and weaving, trying to find some space. He's done well there. The Raiders full-back has eventually stopped 5 or 6 metres short of that line as Aaron Smith looks to make an instant impact, doing what he does best, and he's darting towards the line from dummy half. He can't quite quite get over. He's stopped just a few centimetres short of that line, struggling to get back up to play the ball here as Whitehaven defence have collapsed on top of him, creating some space once again down that right hand side. It's come all the way out to Ryan Shaw. Ryan Shaw tries to flick that ball back infield. Costello's eventually picked it up. He's put a weak kick through. It's collected quite easily by Whitehaven, and that attack comes to nothing. The scoreline remains here: Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 4.
The Raiders have definitely seen something on some sort of video about Oscar Doran. They feel they can get at him, but haven't been able to put the correct pass in so far. That's 3 or 4 occasions from Brad Walker. That ball's gone over the top, trying to cut out the centre. They maybe feel that they're trying to just catch Oscar Doran out there, and maybe not too sure on his defensive position, but he has been able to stand up so far, has the young man. Whitehaven now fetching the ball forward as Dionair has been brought on, and has Callum Phillips. Penalty for Whitehaven to replace James Newton. Is that Lucas Castle out there as well? So, like I say, interchanges are plenty as we just hit the half-hour mark. Penalty for Whitehaven.
It's fair to say as well, the young lad Oscar Doran is fairly new to this level, isn't he, Jordan?
He certainly is, yeah. He sort of come in on trial last season. He'd actually spent time with the Newcastle Falcons Rugby Union side trying to earn a contract there. Wasn't able to earn a contract, and John Gawley invited him down here. The only sort of level he'd played up to in rugby league was sort of only junior rugby. Hadn't played that much open age rugby as well, so still sort of finding himself at this level is Oscar Doran, as Whitehaven now fetching the ball forward. Papua New Guinea and Dionair, of course, the new Whitehaven captain. Phillips in there at dummy half now. It's going to come right into the hands of Connor Holliday. Holliday's going to be taken down there, 20 metres out. Phillips going to go back into centre field now. Ball in the hands of Carter. Carter runs it across the line, out the back to Jamie Doran. Doran then just on a little pop-up ball to Evan Lowther. Lowther's going to be taken down, but they're 15 metres out to the left-hand side of the post. Got to go down that short side. Carter's going to put the little kick in. Plenty of pressure put on there. Knock on. Offside. What's it going to be? It's going to be a knock on here, as the Raiders man was trying to jump on the ball. It's Costello that was trying to jump on the ball. You're not missing Costello in them orange boots, are you? But he tried to dive on the ball there. Initially thought it may have been potentially offside, as Cresswell had put the block in, but it's just ruled a knock on, and it's going to be a scrum down head and feet here to Whitehaven, 10 metres out centre field.
Well, I'm just looking there. You've got is that Ryan King that's got a problem there? Bit of
claret coming from his mouth there for Ryan King. So obviously just making sure to put a stop to that. Maybe just got a bang in the mouth there. Did the Italian international?
Yeah, Whitehaven will get some good field position here now, and I won't be surprised, if they don't nick a try here, and it'll be no more than deserved. It's been. You said before that the Raiders have started the better side, but I don't think they've took chances or used the ball as well as they.
Ball in hands now. Will Evans. Evans is going to try and push it away. 2 or 3 Raiders defenders were able to get away from, but taken down just 5 metres out. T is in there at dummy halves. Going to go left into the hands of Doran, who then comes across to Papua New Guinea and Dionair. He's taken down 8 metres out there. Whitehaven just sort of spreading the ball just to the right hand side of the post. Of course, attacking the railway end. Phillips then finds Doran. Uncharacteristic header then from Jamie Doran, maybe just looking up to see what was in front of him before he actually had the ball in his hands there from the Whitehaven halfback, and that pressure that Whitehaven were trying to put on just let off immediately, and the Raiders going to have an opportunity just to fetch the ball away from their own line.
Yeah, there'll be a big sigh of relief there, and Jamie Doran, he's absolutely probably fuming with himself, and he's a cracking player. I've admired him for a few years, and I always think it's a bad sign when he's busy. We've managed to keep him quiet so far in this game.
Almost 33 minutes played then here at the Ortus Rec, and it's Raiders still holding on to that 4 points to nil advantage as Broadbent is dragged back almost 5 or 6 metres in the tackle there. Raiders still find themselves off their own 10 metre mark as Magic Mike comes onto the field now, and he's took a massive shot, and it's welcome to the 1895 Cup. Welcome to the Cumbrian derby, as Guy Grahame has almost sent him back into his army camp.
Sent him back to the barracks, hasn't he? Wow, what a shot from Guy Grahame.
But yeah, it's welcome to the game, as Raiders now then with Broadbent cuts back in towards the middle of the field. He's done well there. The Raiders winger taken down just shy of the halfway mark, so a big kick will be needed from Johnston, I imagine, here. He tips it towards that trusty left boot of his. It's going to trickle towards that 20 metre mark, taken well from Whitehaven, who are going to restart probably off their own 35 now.
Yeah, Oscar Doran there, still trying to push him towards the line there with the touch line there, where the Raiders defenders, but able to find the floor was the young man, and it's going to be Rio Corkill now. hasn't said his name too many times, but just think Whitehaven have tried this right edge so much more than they have their left hand side when in possession. Plays the ball now, ball in the hands of Dionne. Ogunwole making, I should say. How do I get Magic Mike's name right and get Harvey Makins wrong? Ryan King now fetching the ball forward over the halfway line. Whitehaven, it's centre field, 42 metres out from the Raiders line. Phillips in there at dummy half. Dummies, then finds Jamie Doran, gets the ball away to Connor Holliday, does Doran. It's going to be taken down here. It is the 5 and last. Phillips in a dummy half. Doran waiting for ball. He's going to get that. He's going to put the high kick up there, trying to put some pressure on. Dionne was trying to get there, but just runs into the back of Charlie Emsley. Both hit the floor, nothing sort of given there. It's collected by Ryan Shaw. Shaw's wrapped up by Carter. 5.5 minutes of the half-time break. Haven 0, Raiders 4.
The referee has now stopped the clock. I'm not too sure. I think he's just telling him to get back a little bit there, is he? So Raiders now are going to play this ball just off their own 10 metre mark. He comes out to Luke Cresswell. He's had a good game so far, the Raiders full.
Looks like Connor Holliday's game. He's done. He signalled to the Whitehaven physio straight away. It's gone. Looking at his knee, and that could be the end of Connor Holliday's afternoon. Whitehaven currently defending with 12.
Defending with 12, and the interchange down to just 3 now then. For the rest of this game, it would seem, for Whitehaven, as Barrow now still on that 30 metre inside their own half, looking for the early kick, looking for a 40-20 attempt from Walker. It's bounced off the back of the Whitehaven man. Charlie Emsley tried to pounce on the ball, but it's Whitehaven that are going to gather possession on the Raiders' 40 metre mark. Really interesting what Whitehaven's going to do here now. Obviously you've got Connor Holliday's second row. We mentioned Whitehaven only had one recognised forward on the bench. Guy Graham's already out there. Hannigan a half has gone out there. We've seen Ryan King come over to this edge. What are you going to do? Potentially it's going to be a rearrange. Lovers looks to have gone to second row. We'll try and work it out in a minute. In the meantime, Jay Carter now has ball in hand. Shakes and dummies there, just Jamie Doran, but it's going to be wrapped up there by the Barrow Raiders defence. Sort of 15 metres out are Whitehaven, just to the right hand side of the post. Around about 4 minutes to the half-time break. Guy Graham's just going to run this ball forward. He's going to be taken down. It's the 5 and last. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Phillips is going to go left, then into hands of Hannigan. Hannigan's going to put the kick forward. Romeo's there. He hits the post. Barrow Raiders saved by the post. Otherwise it looked all but certain that the Whitehaven were in. Joey Romeo looks certain there. The post comes to their saviour. Haven 0, Raiders 4. There was 2 men ready to jump on that ball, and it would have been a certain try if it wasn't for that right hand post there, which has just saved the Raiders bacon.
Scary moment for the Raiders, indeed.
So Raiders now are going to play off this 10 metre mark. See if they calmly get through the final few minutes of this half. Just over 3 minutes to go then before half time. Whitehaven 0, Barrow Raiders 4. That try in the 23rd minute from Max Clark, his second in 2 games. Loves a try against his Cumbrian neighbours. Does the Raiders' new man as Harvey Makin now then. Back onto the ball. No nonsense stuff from the Wigan loanee. Past that 30 metre. Aaron Smith. Long sweeping ball out, and it's eventually found Mike Ogunwole once again. This time he's not moving backwards, he's moving forward with the ball, so I'm sure it's a bit of a booster for him on his competitive debut for the Raiders, as Charlie Emsley now then. The former Millen man, of course, takes the Raiders inside the Whitehaven half on the last tackles. Ryan Johnson looked towards that left-hand corner once again. It's bounced off the Whitehaven boot though, back towards Barrow Raiders, and Clark opted for the kick rather than to collect that ball, and Barrow had a great opportunity there to just pick up that ball and continue once again from 20, but it's not going to be. Whitehaven get possession back, and they're going to restart off their own 30 now. I don't think Clark had a choice. I think he was coming at him that quick. I think he just instinct just put a foot out to it, but if he could have collected it, it seemed like the Raiders were in. Opportunities for both sides in the last few minutes. We make it 2.5 minutes to the half-time break here at the Ortus Rec. It is still Haven 0, Raiders 4. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online. Dionne is going to be the man to play the ball on halfway. Goes right then to Guy Grahame, who is going to take Whitehaven into Raiders territory. Got a wave there from Aaron Smith, but he wasn't getting away from Charlie Emsley. 40 metres out, it's going to go left then into Lachlan Hannigan. Hannigan's going for the early kick. I don't think I've seen the 5 and last signal, but noticed there that maybe Cresswell wasn't back in position, neither was Shaw, and it's good the chase there from Lachlan Hannigan, and he's pinned Ryan Shaw only 3 metres away from the Raiders line. Just want to keep an eye on Magic Mike here, Graham, if you will. He looks to be limping almost. It might just be me, but he looks to be struggling to get back in towards that line. We'll try and keep more information on that one, as Luke Cresswell's done extremely well there to wriggle away from 3-4 attempted challenges and take Raiders up towards that 30 metre as Broadbent scoots that ball up now. There's another 5 or 6 metres gained that time. Raiders still deep inside their own half as Aaron Smith is asking for that quick play, getting that ball out towards the right hand edge as Walker once again looking for that 40-20. He hasn't quite got the angles this time, but it has gone back as far as the Whitehaven 10, and that was bobbled around there from Romeo. He's eventually collected the ball. He's going to be tackled just off the 20 metre mark now. It's just got just over a minute to go, Jordan.
Yeah, certainly as Joey Romeo's now going to get up and play this ball, asking for the penalty since they've had about 3 attempts on me there, but referee Brad Milligan not interested in giving an infringement there. And after sort of an infringement filled opening 20, we haven't seen a lot in this last 20 minutes of the first half.
No, definitely. No. It's a good point, that, Jordan. It's definitely back into an arm wrestle, this match.
Carter now fetching this ball forward.
It's being played between both 20s. Both teams are looking to try and get the better field position and try and get a score on the board.
Dion Ayres is going to be the man to play this ball now. Phillips in there at dummy half, going to try and scoot and trying to get away from Ogunwola. Couldn't get away from him, but he's able to get the offload free. There was the Army man, the former British Army, obviously couldn't British Army serving, as was in there at marker. It is now going to be 5 and last as Evan Lowther is going to be taken down. Phillips gets in a dummy half. Carter's going to be looking for the kick over the top. We sort of make it 12-13 seconds to go to the half-time break. He's just going to hold up, and Broadbent is going to fetch this ball forward. Connor Holliday's just come out down below us, ice on his knee, bandaged up. I would say that's afternoon done for the second rower.
Raiders now then off their own 10 metre mark as we are playing into injuries and stoppages. Good strong run in that time from the try scorer Max Clark. Brought down as Raiders up towards that 30 now then with Greenwood, the experienced former Salford man, who's not 19, Graham, he's 32, you know.
That's correct.
Cresswell once again, darting run from him, he gets away and he's got the ball away to Clark. Clark's got Johnson in support. Clark's just taken the tackle, though. Extremely good tackle there from the Whitehaven defence. He quickly needs to get back onto his feet, and I think he's struggling here. Clark is taking a massive shot there. Ryan Johnson does eventually get this play back underway. Raiders sweeping that ball from the left right over to that right hand side with Matty Costello. The ball has come loose though in that challenge. Whitehaven regather possession, and it's another opportunity that goes begging for the Raiders.
Just a lack of composure there. They got out to that right edge there, really. Costello should have just took that ball for all his worth towards the line and see where he ended up.
However, I think this could be a Raiders ball. I think that offload went past from his Costello, and I think it's going to be Oscar Doran that's going to have knocked it on. It's going to be scrum down, head and feet here to the Raiders, and are going to have another opportunity here. Yeah, it definitely was. I thought it was Oscar Doran there. To be honest, I thought Whitehaven were fortunate if they were going to get that, but obviously they haven't. We are into injuries and stoppages. We haven't been stopping our clock. We make it 90 seconds over, so we can't be far away from that half-time hooter. If the Raiders strike here, there we go, game stop. That is it. That is it. Referee Brad Milligan hadn't stopped the clock yet because the scrum hadn't been formed, and Whitehaven probably with a massive let-off there, as it is now Haven 0, Raiders 4, half-time break. Graham. Half-time changes. I'm going to let Dan
three on the bench as well. So I'm just counting. I'm getting my fingers and toes out.
I'm going to let you try and work that one out in the next few seconds, Dan. As we are back underway for the second half here. Ryan Shaw with the kick-off, and it's going to be Jamie Doran to collect on the full and pass it along to Dion Ayre. Whitehaven going to be attacking the Kells, and there's Dion Ayre's nearly through there, just taken down by a last-second ankle tap towards the Papua New Guinean, and nearly the almost perfect start to the half for Whitehaven. But Dion Ayre plays the ball now. Doran was in there at dummy half. It's the fullback Joey Romeo that's going to try and fetch this ball forward. Hasn't made too many metres forward, more sideways there have Whitehaven. Phillips now passes and finds his guy Graham, who's going to keep his legs pumping. The Scottish international made his debut in the 2021 delayed 2021 Rugby League World Cup. Phillips now finds Carter. Carter's going to take Whitehaven over halfway there against his former side. Phillips is going to go right to Jamie Doran, looking to get a roll on here at Whitehaven. Ryan King now with 25 on his back rather than his squad number of 11, but it is going to be 5 and last. 28 metres out from the Raiders line of Whitehaven, so good attacking set in this first half. Going to put the kick through is Jamie Doran. Chase is going to be there as the ball just going to Has Lachlan Hannigan got there? Has Lachlan Hannigan got there? He has, as Lachlan Hannigan. The ball hit the post to Whitehaven detriment in the first half, but in the second half we've just over a minute gone. Lachlan Hannigan with the chase there. He's been able to get get the first 4-pointer of his Whitehaven career, just under the sticks at the Kells end. It's Whitehaven 4, Barrow Raiders 4, and as I said, Grahame Dale, it was to the detriment of Whitehaven in the first half. It's come up trumps for them in the second.
It sure was, Jordan. You know, every side needs a little bit of luck. The Raiders got it in the first half, Whitehaven have got it second half, so they've got that now. It's an even Steven game. I'm sure Carter's about to put this one between the sticks, so they'll take the lead. Yeah, so the Raiders will have to just pick the socks up and get back on with it.
I can't say Ryan Shaw was caught ball watching there. I think he was just waiting for the ball to come right in front of him, and it's just edged its way towards the post before it reached him effectively. Whitehaven were the kick chase. We got there first. And it's going to give them the lead now with Jake Carter, who's got a simple conversion attempt. And I have noticed, counting the numbers, it looks like the try scorer for the Raiders, Max Clark, has failed to come back out of the changing room. So Max Clark, for now, will not feature for the Raiders for the rest of this game, it seems. So we'll try to get an update on that one at the end of the match. But Max Clark is no more for this afternoon's match.
Just looking at Brad Walker as well, Dan. He's got his right foot heavily strapped and he is visibly hobbling. So that doesn't bode well for the Raiders this second half. Just a bit of disruption for them.
Especially with the kicking game.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, I know Ryan Johnson's done the majority of it, but he's put a couple of kicks at the corner there as Brad Walker. And you may ask, how much failings are you going to have in that sort of foot? Have they got any injections in it at half time or something similar? Do you know what I mean? So that might be interesting to watch in the second half as well.
It certainly doesn't look comfortable.
Ryan Shaw with the kick off. Jamie Dorlan's just had to get his foot to it. It's got in front of him, and then he's collected it himself there as the Whitehaven halfback. So it is Whitehaven 6, Raiders 4 here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. Just 3 minutes into the second half. Lachlan Hannigan come off the bench to replace Conor Holliday, who we think his afternoon's also done there as well. So sort of war of attrition out there for both sides at the moment. Bench is looking Weir for Finn. It could be, as Dion Ayres now going to fetch the ball forward. Callum Phillips said he's going to be in there at dummy half, going to come across to try and score a Hannigan, who gets it across to Evan Lowther. Lowther just bumps off Brad Walker, gets the offload away into the hands of Jake Carter. Carter's got Hannigan on his left hand side, rolls it himself there. There's Carter. Ball's then knocked down by Ryan Shaw. Is it then going to go back into the hands? It's going to be initially a knockdown. Ryan Shaw is the try saver there for the Barrow Raiders, and he's just holding his hand there is Ryan Shaw, but Carter was away. He'd done Cresswell left and right, then should have let the ball go, held on it just a second too long, and that has saved there the Barrow Raiders.
The ex-Raider just took it a yard or two too far. He had the ball on there. He had a 3-on-1, and he should have given it earlier. And they may well rue that by the end of this game.
He's penalised Hannigan for the knock on there in that run. I think Jake Carter, he should have took the pass earlier. I think he was just trying to do one on his former teammate Luke Cresswell, and it was just one little play too much for Carter, and it's probably cost Whitehaven a try there. So Raiders now then back in possession up towards that 30-metre mark. Javerstadt the ball comes out to, and it's somewhat battered and bruised. Brad Walker moves back into the centre of the field now then, but he's been playing out on the edge during that defensive play, and he's still hobbling heavily on that heavily strapped right boot of his. So with no place for Max Clark in this lineup for the second half, and one of the key players in Walker, who I don't imagine was going to be kicking much of that ball. He gives that one to Ryan Johnson, who's kicked it over the top, and now Broadbent, like a bat out of hell, goes flying towards that left hand corner, and he's brought him down just 10 metres in front of the line. He was sprinting like he meant it that time. Broadbent. Scoreline remains here, Whitehaven 6, Raiders 4.
Like a bat out of hell, he was begun when the morning comes. Was Luke Broadbent, but wasn't able to get there before Joey Romeo did. And then our Whitehaven that's fetching the ball forward. You've turned me on to these puns, you. As Oscar Dorlan's now fetching this ball forward here for Whitehaven. Haven 6, Raiders 4. BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online. Phillips in there at dummy halves, now in the hands of Curtis Tia. They are targeting Ogunwole or Whitehaven. They realise that could be a sort of a weak link in the Raiders defence, but however it's going to be an incorrect play the ball there. I think was it from Curtis Tia trying to get that fast play the ball in there at dummy half to try and utilise the space left by Ogunwole being left on the floor, and wasn't able to. Incorrect play the ball. It's going to be a Raiders scrum down head and feed on the Haven 38-metre line.
Just again indiscipline. It's just altering the flow of the game, isn't it, for both teams? You know, neither team's getting into that upper hand area and into that final 20 to put anything on to take opportunity and score tries, because they're just turning the ball over.
Raiders now then 40 metres out inside that Whitehaven half. Take that ball out towards this left hand side, up towards the 30 now, as Ramon Silva looks to come back onto the field. And it seems like on every play, defence and attack, the Raiders just reshuffling lineup, and it's quite complicated to try and find out who's where at the moment, as Tom Wilkinson still keeps Raiders on that 30-metre mark. The scoreline: Whitehaven 6, Raiders 4. We've played just over 6 minutes of this second half, and Harvey Makin now, she was going to put in a few more minutes due to the absence of Max Clark for this second half, as Aaron Smith throws that ball, gentle hands towards his left hand side. Cresswell, eventually the tackle is made. Raiders find themselves 10 metres away, looking to retake the lead now, as Ryan Johnston goes back towards the short side. He grubbers that one through. He's going to get to it first. It's going to be dived at the Raiders, but it's going to just go dead before the Raiders manage to get the fingertips to it via Broadbent. It was on that far left hand side. Oh no, I think he has forced. He's forced a drop out there, so good work. It was good kick chase from Broadbent, and it's going to be another drop out for Whitehaven.
Yeah, and again, when this dropout comes, they need to show some composure and take it to the line like they just did there, and then they'll either score or they will get the ball back through the dropout again.
So Ogunwole has come off now then, as Ramon Silva goes back onto the field.
This could be interesting. Who's meeting him?
Could be Dion Air versus Ramon Silva. There's a couple of big matchups here, and he still drives forward, does Ramon, and he's also won the penalty in the process. Whitehaven going in a little bit high, the referee has deemed. So now you wonder, in a position like this, are they going to take the 2 points?
You would think so. Yeah. Just take the 2, get the game back on an even, Stephen, and just work away again and start again.
So I imagine Ryan Shaw will take the corner out now, as the captain Jarrod Stack just goes over to speak to the referee. So it's going to be a kick off pretty much bang on the 30-metre mark, almost central with the posts. You'd expect nothing more than a kick through the middle from Ryan Shaw, as the players just stopped here. We've got a slight pause. Have you got any more score lines for us, Jordan, just while we've got this little break in play?
Wakefield have now extended their lead to 30 points to 0 at York. Still pretty much the same elsewhere. It was Dewsbury 4, Bradford 32, Rochdale 0, Halifax 22. Full-time score was Batley 15, Featherstone 14, 4-all at Swinton, and Doncaster 6, Sheffield 8.
So Ryan Shaw taking up every second that he needs to go through his kicking process here. This will make it 6 points apiece. And we did say, I think as well, to the end of last week's game, it wouldn't be surprised, me and Jordan discussing, if it was a draw. And it looks to be heading that way at the moment, as Ryan Shaw puts boot to ball, and as you'd expect, it goes right down the middle, straight and true from the winger Ryan Shaw. 9 minutes on the clock in this second half, and the score lines are levelled up once more. It's Whitehaven 6, it's Barrow Raiders 6.
So good effort there. Took the 2 points, got the game back on an even, Stephen. They're going to take this ball back now, and the Raiders, like you say, they just need to show some composure, get a good set of 6 in, get a good kick away, and then put this Whitehaven under pressure and get the results in numbers, tries. Whitehaven, however, needs to put this ball as deep as they can, chase after it hard, and force a mistake from the Raiders, and then in turn they'll get the good field position and hopefully the opportunity for a try. At the moment we're struggling for something.
I think the referee just stopped the clock here. I'm not too sure.
I think there was a bit of confusion. Ryan King's come off just to get some treatment, and I don't think the referee knew, well, are you putting an interchange on? You're not putting an interchange on. He was just waiting to see. As soon as he realised King was getting some treatment, he's put time back on, and the Raiders have the ball from the kick-off.
Harvey Makin once more then takes a big shot, still travels sideways, eventually stopped on his 20-metre, as Smith now gets that ball out to Silva. Silva throws a dummy, and you can see the big numbers numbering up on Ramon Silva now. He's drawn them into the middle, all 4 of them. Got the ball away to Matty Costello, who tries to cut back in towards the middle. Man with a vast amount of Super League experience, and once again the referee has blown his whistle. He's told him just to get back a metre or so to play that ball. Costello, as Tom Wilkinson now then drives down the middle at his former teammate Jake Carter that time, completing the tackle. Raiders still inside their own half, playing off the 40 now, as Smith gets that ball out, quick hands that time. It goes around the back of Silva. It's eventually collected by Charlie Emsley. Emsley, no nonsense stuff, takes the Raiders up towards the halfway. Sloppy that time from the Raiders, as the ball now comes back to Makin. He picks up the pace there. He drives towards that 40-metre mark on the last tackle now. Then another big kick needed. This time it's going to come from Ryan Johnson. He's put that one high and true towards that left-hand corner. Immense pressure here from the kick chase. And
great chase
and a great tackle. And Whitehaven now are starting just just in front of their own line.
Yeah, great chase there from Luke Broadbent. Put pressure on Curtis Tier straight away. Couldn't get anywhere, could Curtis Tier. And now fetching the ball forward to Will Evans. That's going to be taken there on second tackle. Romeo's in a dummy half. Hannigan then gets the cross to Oscar Doran, more or less in centre field now. Our Whitehaven just over 11 minutes gone in the second half here. Haven 6, Raiders 6. Penalty to the Haven. Raiders pinned for the marker's not square and offside. I think you could take your pick there. I think it's referee saying Brad Milligan, and he's going to have an opportunity here for Lachlan Hannigan. Not the best kick from Hannigan, but it means that Whitehaven's going to start a metre short of halfway. Coach killer, just as Raiders were putting the pressure on in defence.
Again, anybody that's sat at home listening to this, both teams working really hard to try and get the ascendancy when they haven't got the ball. But again, stupid penalties that's giving away field position again.
So Dion trying to get up and play the ball, goes down like he's a Premier League footballer there, Dion but gets up and plays the ball. Ball in the hands now. Will Evans gone through several pairs of hands. The Welsh international centre going down that right hand side and made plenty of metres. Only a couple of metres in from the popular side touchline. Whitehaven attacking the Kells end. Jamie Doran comes across to Jake Carter. Carter runs it hard and forward, taken down 9 metres out just to the right hand side of the post. Phillips is going to go down that short side. Doran with the line, goes down there to Jamie. Doran's taken down. Only a metre short there is the Whitehaven halfback. Phillips is going to go down that short side again. It's Ryan King. Ryan King has got a very similar try against Barrow in that league game on that Monday night back in August, but he's taken down just short. It is the 5 and last. Phillips surely going to come back towards the middle, and he is in the now the feet to Jamie Doran, and he's going to be well collected there. I can't quite tell which member of the Barrow Raiders that is. I'm sure Dan Payne will be able to tell me, but it's Jared Stack. Yes,
Stack. What a take that was, moving forward. That ball was coming at pace towards the sticks from that excellent kick from Duran, and he's done well there, the Raiders captain. And Ryan Shaw now's trying to create some space for himself over on this right hand side. I mean, we were saying before kick-off this won't be anything like a friendly, and it's definitely picked up pace in this second half. You can see a little bit more aggression coming from both defences as well, especially from this Whitehaven defence. This time a little bit too much aggression, giving away a penalty for holding on in the tackle, and the referee told him to release. And it's these silly errors for both teams, both coaches this afternoon.
At some point, one of these teams has got to take advantage of this. They've got a penalty, they've took the kick, and now they've got a set of 6. They need to put the pressure on, and then they need to take the chances when they come their way.
So one of the best opportunities now then for the Raiders during this second half. 13 and a half minutes played. It's still 6 points apiece in this Part 2 Cumbrian derby of the 1895 Cup, as Tom Wilkinson takes a massive shot, but he isn't grounded with the ball. Play continues. Offload gets away to Luke Cresswell, who's probably been one of the standout performers this afternoon. The referee has indicated 6 again then, so Raiders now then within 30 metres.
First one of the afternoon, first 6 again we've seen. Also currently all the infringements had been penalties, so Raiders got an opportunity to take full advantage.
20 out now then, taking that ball towards this right hand side. It's popped off to Jared Stack, who's looking for his 3rd in 2 games. It's a fantastic offload away. It's eventually come out to Shaw on this right hand side after a quick offload from Costello. Raiders now then just a few metres to go. What can they do here as they bring that ball out now towards the middle once again? Jared Stack with a dummy, takes a run in himself off the quick offload from Walker. They've still got plenty of tackles to go now. Raiders less than 10 metres out. Long sweeping pass towards this left hand side. Raiders trying to create some space. They've got the numbers if they can just get the ball over to the edges, but it's a fantastic tackle that time. Will Evans it was completing the tackle on the Raiders fullback, as Barrow now have got to go from one wing all the way back in towards the middle. It seems Charlie Emsley, no nonsense stuff this time from him on the last tackle once again for the Raiders. Still less than 10 metres out. The ball comes to Wilkinson. Quick hands here from Barrow as Walker eventually puts that one through. Who's going to drop onto it first? Plenty of players chasing the ball. I think it's just going to be tapped out, is it, by Whitehaven, so forcing yet another dropout.
Just tapped out. Is that because you can't see? Because you may have forgotten your glasses.
Stop it, Jordan.
Yeah, it is. It was
you can tell when I'm straining, can't you?
It was knocked out there. It was Hannigan and Corkill just urging the ball to go dead, but Corkill just then had to get his left hand to it and just knock it dead. What's that, the 5th, 6th of the goal line dropout that the Raiders have forced?
Yeah, easily. They've done well with them today.
Good dropout collected by Cresswell, who pops that ball off to Ramon Silva. Oh, and he's been lifted in the tackle. He's managed to get the offload away. He's not too fussed himself as Luke Cresswell wobbles. He weaves. He keeps on going. Cresswell trying to dart all the way towards the line before he's eventually stopped. Just a few metres shy. Raiders have got some big numbers on both sides now. Then as Smith looks to go towards the line, Cresswell takes the offload. Can Cresswell get that ball away? No, he's going to be crumpled in the tackle there, just a few metres shy of that line. It's another fantastic opportunity once again for the Raiders to take the lead here as Matt Harvey-Making now bounces off a couple of attempted tackles. He's brought down. Raiders still find themselves 3-4 metres away over on that far left hand side of the pitch to bring the ball over towards the right hand side now. The ball's been bobbled out in the tackle. Great defence from Whitehaven. They've now regathered possession. It's going to remain here 6 points apiece, and Whitehaven back in control.
Fantastic defence from Whitehaven, just able to make sure the Raiders stayed out on their right hand side, the Raiders left hand side. As the ball come in, it's going to be a penalty to Whitehaven once again. Marcus not square. This really is going to be a common theme I think we're going to see in the early weeks of the season. Or is it going to be like it was in previous seasons, where they clamp down on something for the first 6 to 8 weeks? If they're going to do this, they need to be consistent with it, because that's what players, coaches and officials themselves alike probably get so frustrated about, is that yes, we get told to do this, we get told to do that, and then you just sort of revert back to what has been the norm. But Whitehaven have got a penalty here, their 7th of the afternoon, just against the Raiders 6 and a 6 again, so 7 infringements each. And now on halfway, Ross Ainley's going to be taking this ball forward. He's taken down just short of the 40 metre mark. Phillips then comes across to Carter, who gets it across to Dionair. Dionair's going to be wrapped up there, takes 3 of him, and he's still going backwards there. Emsley making, and I think is it Johnson that's involved there as well. Phillips is now going to go right into the hands of Jamie Dornan. Dornan gets it across to Ryan King. He's further. He starts up there as Ryan King. Is he over the Italian into the actual? He is on that right hand side.
He's lost the ball.
Has he lost it, or is he going to be given here? It's going to be given. Tom Wilkinson was there. Luke Broadbent was there. A couple of other Barrow Raiders defenders were there. They feel Ryan King lost that ball. Dan Payne called it straight away. It'll be interesting to watch that one back. But referee Brad Milligan has given the 4-pointer. It's Whitehaven's 2nd of the half. It's their 2nd of the afternoon, and Whitehaven retake the lead. Haven 10, Raiders 6.
Kudos to Ryan King there. He found a fantastic line to break through that Raiders defence that have been pretty solid for the most part this afternoon. He's just stretched towards the line though, and obviously the officials got a better view down there, but from our angle here it did look like the ball was loosely put down and travelled forward, but
players that were also a lot closer than me and you were also thought that it wasn't given, but that he did knock it on. So it will be interesting to watch that one back to see how much the camera got there, Grahame Dale. But yeah, a little bit of controversy in that one, just what you want in a Cumbrian derby.
I mean, that's put the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it, for these travelling Barrow fans. You know, he did really well, like you say, the boy King. He come onto it, he put a step on, and he took it to the line and took his moment. You just got to dip your hat to him. He took it to the line, and this is what we were calling for at half time. You know, to keep the ball in hand, take it to the line, and see what you come out with.
I don't have to tell you anything. The cheese around us certainly will. That Jay Carter's been able to nail the conversion from that right hand side. Just ticking over into the 60th minute here on BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. 1895 Cup Group action, and it is Whitehaven 12, Raiders 6. What will be the messages be from the coaches, Graham, in these guys are going into the final quarter?
Just basically they've just got to cut out the silly mistakes and try and stay into the danger area of the game where they can try and score tries. I'd like to see them start putting something back against the grain and switch the point of their attack so that they're moving the defence around a little bit.
Dionair runs forward there. He's met by Emsley, Ramon Silva, Tom Wilkinson there as well was the Papua New Guinean. Jamie Dornan in there at hooker. Ross Ainley fetching the ball forward now for Whitehaven. Barrow Raiders ready, and Josh Wood down below us, trying to get him introduced, try and get something in this Raiders side within the last 20 minutes.
It's a great tackle.
Yeah, I was going to say, I say nothing against it. Plenty did behind us, but I just think Brad Walker was able to catch Evan Law over there. Owen didn't particularly like it, but Lachlan Hannigan now has ball in hand, throws a dummy, able to get away from one. He's not getting away from the second one, which is Walker. His 2nd consecutive tackle. Phillips is going to come down this short side to Jake Carter. Carter looking for the early kick, trying to find green grass. All he's going to find is the hands of Luke Cresswell.
Raiders now then with Luke Cresswell. He takes that ball up towards that 30 metre mark, and Raiders need to do something fast here as Josh Wood comes back onto the field for Aaron Smith, who's dropped straight to his knees there. He's put in a big shift. Don't think he's got in the sort of positions he would have preferred to have been in, as Raiders make their 7th interchange of this match, still trailing by the 6 points, of course. A win here against their Cumbrian neighbours will guarantee their place in the quarter-finals. The defeat here will all go down to that game in 2 weeks' time between Whitehaven and Workington. Obviously, points difference. I think the best runner-up goes through as well. Is that right?
Yeah, but that's going to come from the Newcastle group, isn't it?
You'd probably expect over the points being scored around there. So quite a lot rides on this game this afternoon for both of these teams if they want to make it on that road to Wembley. The deep kick on the last tackle goes towards that left-hand corner. Good chase from Ryan Johnson, meaning that Whitehaven are starting just in front of their own line again.
Curtis Tia being able to find plenty of metres, and a penalty there as well. Called penalised for a high tackle on there as Curtis Tia is just on the ground. It was called for a high tackle on the Whitehaven winger, of course, the former Wafbrow Hornet. And but it is Haven 12, Raiders 6, Whitehaven's 8th penalty of the afternoon. It'll be interesting after the game to get Paul Crary's thoughts on that and the discipline, probably from both coaches, because Whitehaven's conceded 6 and the 6 again. Like you say, is it just the new rules? Is it just fitness coming into play?
I just think it's fatigue will be coming into play now, Jordan. And the other thing is as well, I just get the impression Whitehaven have now got this crowd behind them and they've got the bit between the teeth. For the first time in the game, I feel as though they really are on a forward charge. It's the Raiders that are going to have to work hard now.
Evans plays the ball 10 short of halfway. Ball in the hands now with Dion Ayre. Is going to be met. You don't see Dion Ayre push back.
Big tackle that time from who else? The motorway, the ginger jukebox, whatever you want to call him.
M6, 2 hard shoulders.
I'm glad I'm not with Jersey again next week. Jesus, if this is what you're coming out with. Callum Phillips is now on the right hand side. Then going to get the offload away to Carter, who gets another offload away to Joey Romeo. Comes right into the hands of Ryan King. Romeo just trying to break the line there, trying to get the offload, expecting the offload from King, but it wasn't forthcoming. King's just going to stay down here. He's going to be a slow play of the ball. He's playing these 40 metres away from the Raiders line. Ball in the hands now with Jamie Doran coming across the line. Speed of play slowed down in the last 4 to 5 minutes. I think you're right in what you're saying there, Graham, that fatigue is starting to come into it here. It is the 5 and last. Jamie Doran, you imagine, he isn't going to be looking there for touch there. Calls from Tom Wilkinson that he'd taken Jamie Doran out. It was just a tackle there that he was trying to put the kick in, nothing away from that, and the Raiders are going to come forward with the ball down Payne.
Cresswell's taken that ball well as well at the end of the set. Almost had a faultless game so far, the Raiders fullback. Ryan Shaw now then tries to get up for that quick play of the ball. 20 metres in front of his own post as Broadbent throws out a dummy, runs in towards that 30 metre mark on his own. Another play of the ball to Cresswell, who once again is just running straight at the Whitehaven defence. He's brought down. Raiders 35 metres in front of their own sticks now then as Josh Wood gets that ball out to Wilkinson. No nonsense stuff this time, but he's taken a massive shot from Dion Ayre and he's dropped straight to the floor as Wilkinson has gone up though. Got on with it. Ryan Johnson looking for the kick on the 4th towards the Whitehaven post. The ball's just going to bobble up on that 10 metre mark. Be collected well. Raiders still trailing this game by 12 points to 6.
Joey Romeo fetching the ball forward for Whitehaven. Now he's the fullback. Lucas Castle getting ready to come back on down below us. Who is it that's going to be leaving the field? Oscar Doran's going to be fetching Whitehaven forward now, just over the 30 metre line. He's the young man. Hannigan in there at dummy half. Jake Carter that's left the field, so maybe feeling a bit of reinforcements needed in the middle there.
Yeah, that's that fatigue factor, just to give the forwards a little bit more of an oomph at this stage of the game where they're protecting a slender lead still. One try in it.
So Phillips in there at dummy half. Castle did play the ball in the hands of Dion Ayre. 5 and last, just 5 over halfway centre field. You imagine the Whitehaven will be trying to find touch here. Lachlan Hannigan, no, he's going to put it high there. He's a spiraling bomb. Cresswell's going to be underneath it. Does well there. Cresswell looked safe as Howells. He's expecting him to save that. He's got back up. He's fetched the ball forward. He's now going to be taken down just 20 metres away from his own line.
Safe as a Swedish seatbelt.
There it is. You line that one up, Jordan. You line that one. That one's on you. That's not on me. Jared Snap now then takes the Raiders past that 30 metre mark. Raiders really need to pick up the momentum here, go into the 4th and 5th gears towards the final 15 minutes or so of this Cumbrian derby as Cresswell joins the line once more. Raiders up towards the halfway now. They need to make some quick meters. They're trying to best to spread the ball out as it was Charlie Emsey that time taking a big shot from Dion Ayre. He's done well to Getting about 7 or 8 metres in the process as Walker now then must be feeling better about that right foot, because he's put boot to ball for the first time in this second half. Kicked it deep towards the corner, but again the kick chase from the Raiders are doing them a load of favours here. Whitehaven back on their own 10.
Behave yourself.
Sorry, nearly.
You're not at Derby Park.
And now we've got another bit of fisticuffs.
And it's a penalty to the Raiders. Whitehaven giving away a penalty in possession there. I didn't quite see what was going on. Joey Romeo, I don't think, was happy that something maybe got some treatment he was getting on the ground there from the Barrow Raiders defenders, but referee Brad Milligan has saw nothing in it, and he's penalised Joey Romeo there for his reaction. And with the game so tight, as you mentioned, only that one try deficit that the Raiders find themselves, that is something you don't want to be doing.
He's blotted his copy, but I was just about to say I've been impressed with him this afternoon. Joey Romeo, is it? He's Romeo, sorry. He's apologies. He's looked really good. He's been a jumping jack. He's been supporting. He's been light on his feet. Yeah, really good player.
Referee's been calling over the captains here. I know we're with them both. I was saying you can see
still not happy. He's Joey Romeo, is he? He's pointing and pushing, and the Whitehaven physios actually have to end up pushing Joey away before he gets in further trouble.
Broadbent's trying to get involved on that far left hand side now.
That doesn't surprise you, does it? Luke Broadbent, he likes a bit of aggression.
I do think the Raiders need something from this set of 6.
They really do. They find themselves once again in a fantastic position, but time is running out. 14 minutes left on the clock. Raiders still trailing this game by 6. It's Whitehaven 12, Raiders 6. Barrow find themselves 10 metres away now, though, in a great position as Walker just changes direction of the play, takes that ball back in towards the middle of Greg Burke, who's probably in some of the best shape of his career so far. He takes Raiders to within 2 metres of the line there. The ball comes back out to Walker. Great flat ball out to Jared Stack, but the Whitehaven defence was straight onto the Raiders captain. They weren't allowing him to go in for his third in 2 games. Still find themselves in a fantastic opportunity, and it's going to be Manny Costello. Costello has just found enough space in that Whitehaven defence to pop that ball over the line. It's going to be a well needed try with 12.5 minutes left on the clock. Manny Costello with his first one in Raiders colours since re-signing for the club. The scoreline here, it now reads Raiders 10, Whitehaven 12.
Yeah, Matty Costello did well there, because the Raiders they took the ball to the right. Whitehaven was short on their left edge, and one player came out and it left a little hole that Costello spotted. He come on a great line, and it was a little short ball, and he was on his way down as he caught it, and rightly took the 4-pointer. Raiders breathe a sigh of relief.
Haven 12, Raiders 10. It's tight once again. It was the same back in August, that Monday night down here. On that occasion, it was settled by a Ryan Johnston drop goal. Here we see we're going into drop goal territory once again. What is it with the games between these two? Apart from the Summer Bash last season, obviously you had the game at Craven Park, you've had the game here. Craven Park settled by 2 points. Down here, settled by 1 point. What is with these games between these two sides in recent years?
Fantastic advert for rugby league, though, isn't it? Every time these two have met recently, it's just, even with all the penalties, with the referees pushing on the rules a bit more, and it's sometimes that can take a lot away from the game, but the entertainment factor, and it's still there.
I mean, Paul Quare, he was saying before the game in his interviews and stuff, and earlier in the week, that he's looking forward to seeing a battle up front, and that's what he's got. His players have had that run out this afternoon, and they've been in a war for however many minutes we've played. And same like with Whitehaven as well. They've both gone at it. Whoever wins this game today, they'll take a lot of good points out of the game to take forward.
As you'd expect, Ryan Shaw adds the 2. So it is now Whitehaven 12, it's Barrow 12. We've got about 12 minutes or so to go, and we are heading for the dreaded drop goal territory. I don't know, I've had the flu all week. I don't know if my throat could contain another drop goal.
Mine didn't take it back in August. It certainly won't be taking it thick now. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sports Online, the Raiders are fetching the ball forward.
Ramon Silva it is then. Another fantastic shift from the Raiders forward. Quick play the ball that time as Josh Wood attacks that Whitehaven line. Great work that time from the Raiders hooker. A little bit more attacking prowess, which Cresta wanted into his game, and he's given him just that, and he's taken Barrow up towards the halfway line, but the pass bounces off the knees of Jared Stack and into the Whitehaven possession, and as good as it was then, it's now Whitehaven back on the ball.
Normally so Mr. Reliable, Graham. How you don't see them sort of headers coming from Jared Stack.
I was just about to say that's probably lifted the Raiders an opportunity, momentum, etc. But again, a sloppy mistake from a guy who very rarely makes mistakes.
Now Whitehaven fetching the ball forward. We've heard nothing but from Jonty Gawley and Paul Crary all pre-season how these games are pre-season. How does this 10-minute take it? As Whitehaven just go down that right-hand side where Will Evans, how do they take it? Do they take it as a friendly? Do they go for the 4 points? Or is it a competitive fixture? Do they go for the 1 point? Whitehaven now, Jamie Doran with ball in hand, runs and shapes and nearly through there is Jamie Doran. Nearly takes on the 4 Barrow Raiders defenders in front of him. It's the 4th one that fetched him down. Newton as a replacement on for Phillips in there at dummy half. Dion Ryan King searching for his second of the afternoon. Gets the offload away to Will Evans. Only just into the hands of Will Evans. Is it on that side there? Is it Max Gill? It can't be Clark. Potentially Broadbent.
No, it's Broadbent.
It was nearly there for the offload. It's Hannigan now putting the little kick forward. Comes off the Barrow Raiders man, but has gone backwards into the hands of Charlie Emsley. Fantastic work from Greg Berg. Less than 10 minutes on the clock. It is still Haven 12, Raiders 12.
You can almost hear a pin drop whenever Doran's got that ball 10-15 metres away. He drops that ball to his boot. No one knows where the ball's going to go. Luckily that time for the Raiders it came up into the hands of Charlie Emsley.
It's been like a prize fight, hasn't it? They've been going at it all afternoon. Like you say, both sides have been guilty of mistakes, but that's rugby league.
Is that going? It's just gone. That's a fantastic kick. And I mean fantastic from Ryan Johnson. There's barely a breath of wind in the air and he's made 50 metres.
And to answer your question, Jordan, both them coaches, both these sets of players, the winners, and they'll want to go for this where it takes 1 point, whether it takes 4 points.
Here we go then. Will Raiders find a winner? Will there be any points to be put on the board on this play? 30 metres out now then, into the final 10 minutes of the match now. A win for Raiders will guarantee their place in the quarter-finals, and they will find themselves just 2 victories away from going out at Wembley. Raiders going towards that right-hand side, and they've got big numbers on this edge as well, but it's a fantastic defensive tackle there from Whitehaven, pushing Barrow back to almost 15 metres out now then. No nonsense stuff from the captain. Gets an offload away to Costello. Costello's trying to look for an offload to Shaw. He's taken the tackle. He's 5 metres away from that line as Raiders bring that ball back in towards the middle. Once again, Jared Stack. He just heads towards the line at the angle on the last now then. We expect a kick to come over the top. Will it come from Walker? Will it come from Johnson? The ball goes to Walker. He doubles that one through. It's going to be a chase down. Who's going to get to it first? The referee takes a look and he's just going to award
a goal line dropout.
Remember
your glasses next time, Dan Payne.
Steady. Again, that was one set of 6 that they could do with a repeat set at the end of it, and they've managed to do it. And it's situations like this now. Again, both teams will be tired, but they need to be just play a bit composure and try and nail something maybe that they've worked on the training.
Fingertip stuff that time. Josh Woods it was he must have been a fingernail away from grounding that ball first, but it was Whitehaven that managed to get to that ball, forcing the drop out, and now Raiders once again find themselves 15 metres out. We have got
fantastic work from Ramon Silva there.
7 minutes to go. Silva once again just gathering up these Whitehaven defenders, getting in some great field position for Barrow as Wilkinson takes the Raiders to within 5 metres now. Then it's 12 points apiece. Wood throws that ball out towards that left-hand side, popped off to Charlie Emsley. Emsley heads towards the line. Who will be the winner? Will anyone be the superhero today? We've only got to go back a few months and it was Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson is the man that gets the ball out now. He throws the ball out towards his right-hand edge. Costello's collected it. It's a massive shot there from the Haven defence.
Fantastic from Oscar Doran, the young man. We said he's still only finding his feet in this game.
Josh Wood gets that ball out to Stack once more, back to Wood, back towards the middle now as Walker puts that ball through, and Raiders have got runners, and Raiders have got the try, and Raiders take the lead once again. We've only got 6 minutes to go, and Barrow have taken the lead in the Cumbrian derby. What a fantastic finish we're going to have here in the final few moments. The scoreline now reads Barrow Raiders 16, Whitehaven 12.
Well, we can track that try right back to the previous set where they did a good set and a great kick and got a repeat set, and off the repeat set they took the Whitehaven defence to their right, they brought them back to the left, and then they put it along the floor. They were slightly stretched, you could see the gap appear, and the Raiders had three attackers that encroached onto that ball, and it was Who scored the try?
All three of us are looking at each other and asking the question. I don't know, Graham. There was that much of a muddle around there. I can't quite tell.
They had orange boots on. I'm going to say. I'm being
completely honest. That's not narrowing it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them have got the orange boots on.
I think I'm going to say it was there. I don't want Costello. He's on this other side.
Other side.
I'm going to say Broadbent.
Well, it's just a lucky dip at the moment. Nevertheless, the Raiders have got that try. It's not even been announced yet. I don't think anybody quite knows exactly who it is.
I think Ryan Shaw has just been encouraged to just maybe go a little bit quicker. I could just imagine what it'd be like if it was the other way around. I'm sure the Barrow fans would be shouting exactly the same.
Raiders fans in full voice over in that far left hand side there on the popular side as Ryan Shaw now looks to give Barrow that 6-point advantage. He's just off centre towards that left hand side of the posts. Just over 5 minutes to go now, plus anything for stoppages here, so there's still plenty of action to be played, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Whitehaven go for the short kick-off. We're still waiting for Ryan Shaw. He gets 90 seconds to go through this process, and we've got some updates.
The Raiders Twitter feed have given it to James Greenwood.
James Greenwood, there we go. The only guy that hasn't got orange boots on. And it's the 2 points on the board for Ryan Shaw, extending the Raiders lead here now. Then it's Barrow 18, Whitehaven 12 in what has once again been an absolutely unbelievable Cumbrian derby, and I still think there's more points in this. From which team, we'll never know.
There's only one way to find out, and that signals with us right here on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online. Joey Romeo. He hasn't gone short, has he? Maybe a little bit longer than we make it. We make it around about 3.5 minutes. To be fair, the Raiders Twitter feed make it around about 6 minutes to go. So there is no scoreboard. We haven't been stopping this on every sort of stoppage really. So we still could be a good 4, 5, maybe even 6 minutes away from full time here. But it is Raiders bringing the ball forward.
So Greenwood then confirmed via Barrow Raiders Twitter as the try scorer. It's his first try competitively for the Raiders. He had a good score in pre-season for Barrow, and now he's continued that form into the 1895 Cup as once again Ramon Silva making some big drives straight down the middle. He just draws in the Whitehaven defenders. A massive shot that time, taken slightly high. It looks like the whiplash on Tom Wilkinson there as he's eventually tackled. Last tackle now then as Ryan Johnson punts that one up high towards that left hand corner, putting Whitehaven under immense pressure, but the chase keeps him way back just in front of their own line once again.
One thing we can say about the Raiders today, with the amount of maybe ill discipline there have been at times, their kick chase has been perfection. Ball's been lost out there. It's a penalty to Whitehaven. We've just mentioned their ill discipline. The kick chase has been perfection. The discipline, Grahame Dale, anything but.
It's been absolutely, like you said earlier, Paul will have no hair left. Both coaches there'll be ruined chances lost by the fact of losing field position. And like you say, at the moment the Raiders, I was just going to say, now is the time to keep the ball solid and to keep it tight and protect what you've got.
So Whitehaven fetching the ball forward now through Lucas Castle. Castle's going to be picked up and dumped. Josh Wood and Ramon Silva, two men you probably don't want to be running into 78 minutes into a game. Hannigan throws a dummy there, but he's not going to fool Wilkinson or Jared Stack. But Whitehaven are in the Raiders half now. Newton is going to go right to Ross Ainley. Ainley runs towards Tom Wilkinson and Josh Wood, centre field, 32 metres out. Newton's going to go scoot from dummy half, then goes right. Hannigan, then Doran across to Joey Romeo then across to Will Evans. Will Evans is trying to get the handoff away, but it is now the 5 and last. Whitehaven are 10 metres out, but only 2 or 3 metres in from that popular side touchline. It's going to come left now to Jamie Doran with the crossfield kick, goes right into the hands of Rio Corkill, but Corkill tries to get the offload away, and he does, but it's judged as being held there and brought down first there, and it's Matty Costello was just waiting for Rio Corkill to take that ball, and he just wrapped up there his opposite number and made sure that Corkill couldn't have any opportunity to get that ball away or get him for the 4 pointed himself. We make it a minute left, could be a little bit longer.
Yeah, just a few minutes to go here then for this part 2 Cumbrian derby. It still remains Whitehaven 12, Barrow Raiders 18, and the Raiders now then will take all the time in the world to play every single one of these balls. Hopefully they'll see enough time through this set to listen to the full-time hooter as Jared Stack on his back rolls back to his feet, plays that ball out. Eventually it's come to Wilkinson, who's driving up towards the 35 metre mark now, then inside his own half, again laying on his back, and eventually turns round, and it's not going to be any quick play the balls whatsoever here from the Raiders as Costello now up towards the halfway. And this final kick that's going to be coming shortly, I imagine that Whitehaven will probably try and throw the ball around as much as they can and just keep this game alive for them as we approach what we believe to be the final 60 seconds. But once again, the kick chase from the Raiders there from out of absolutely nothing, and Ryan Johnson as well kicking his own kicks, keeping Whitehaven camped right back within their own 20.
So Whitehaven fetching the ball forward now. You feel this will be their final set. Will Evans, it's fetching the ball forward. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online. It's Haven 12, Raiders 18. That hooter goes in a minute and there's no further scores. Raiders are guaranteed. We think, there we go, he's the hooter. The Raiders are guaranteed to be in the quarter-finals of the 1895 Cup draw. They are 2 games away from Wembley. That quarter-final draw we will bring you exclusively on BBC Radio Cumbria Sport Online in 2 weeks. But here at the Ortus Rec, Cumbrian derby bragging rights go to the Raiders once again. It's finished. Whitehaven 12, Raiders 18.
Just